Hey everyone, this is Home Game, where we talk about the nerdy stuff that we enjoy. So I just wanted to make a video. It's been over a week. And I wanted to talk about a few awesome things that I found in that time, and as well as give a brief life update. But let's start with Sly Flourish's City of Arches. Now, Sly Flourish has a YouTube channel. I believe it's called Lazy DM. I think it's so called. It might be called Sly Flourish. It's probably called Sly Flourish. Um, but he writes these lazy DM books, and it's really a misnomer. They should call him the efficient DM. But uh, he talks about putting the getting maximum enjoyment out of the effort that you put into it. So he has a campaign setting where it's called the City of Arches, and he's been playtesting it for I believe over a year now, through his Patreon. And I don't have Patreon, but I've debated getting it just to subscribe to his. Um, so basically, the City of Arches, the concept is, from my understanding, is there's a bunch of these arches around the city, and things can come through them, um, but there's no real set way to activate them. It's supposed to be this adventure of discovery, trying to figure out ways to activate them. And there's rumors that there's keys for activating them throughout the city and under the city and around the city. The artwork in this book is pretty great. Like I don't, the artwork in his books is always good, but it is not really my style. Um, but the artwork in this book is better than any other books I've seen that he put out. And he usually writes with other people or contributes to other larger projects. But he does have a few of his own books out now. Um, but this one is looks like solely by him. It looks like he is an editor and artist, but this is a lot of his work went into this. Um, and and really, he looks at these things from a DM perspective, where he wants to make things easy for the DM to create. So while you flip through this, there's going to be a lot of unanswered questions, um, because he's giving you the tools you need to flush out the world and customize it for your players. There's a bunch of background information, adventure hooks. What's funny is I was reading through this and the factions. I was overwhelmed by the factions, and I'm like, what I really want is just a cheat sheet to reference to know what these factions are. Here's one of the NPCs, Garland. Um, and as I'm flipping through, I get to the end of the faction section, and he has a cheat sheet for all the factions. Like it was literally, I was thumbing through, and I was like, man, I really could use a cheat sheet. And oh, here it is. Yeah, there's a cheat sheet. Um, he it seems like his charts talk a lot about, like this one is secrets revealed. How you can figure how your characters can discover a secret. So it doesn't give you a list of secrets that they could discover. It gives you a list of situations in which they could discover a secret. And so he leaves it really open to you coming up with a secret. Here's ways that secrets can be revealed just to help you get your secret into the game. And I really like that because I'm definitely capable of coming up with my own secrets, and I'm often customizing to the player's needs, but trying to figure out ways to fold them in would be that's helpful for you to suggest 20 different ways I could potentially fold a secret into my story. Here's a map of the or a overview of the City of Arches, and he has some really good descriptions in here too. Um, this is his. Uh, let's see, I think it's 44 pages, 42 page preview. And this is, of course, it's on Kickstarter. I should have opened with that. Got some nice NPCs in here. What was locations? Oh yeah, here we go. So he goes through all these locations and gives you some good in-depth descriptions of locations, and then a lot of locations he gives adventure hooks for and stuff like that, which is great. But then at the end he says, here's a summary of locations. So small summaries of these locations, so you can just thumb through and see if anything catches your eye and then investigate that location more closely. And that's amazing. Like, that's exactly what I want. This is where I would start. And then I would go back up in the chapter and look into the location more and try to build out from it even, you know, like, it's nice getting a great idea and then being able to inject your stuff into it. And he leaves a lot of room for that in this book. He's upfront about everything too, where if you buy an adventure from someone like a big company, often I'm rewriting that thing anyway. So it's like I almost feel ripped off sometimes because I pay $60 for a book and then I'm rewriting half of it, and I'm like, I really just needed an outline to build off of. But it's just, the adventure books are just books of ideas anyway. Like, I don't know anybody who, unless you're doing like an adventure league or something, you're not running an adventure straight out of the book. Here's a section of campaign arcs. Like I said, there's a whole section of factions. All of this is free right now on his Kickstarter, and it's one-click download free for the 42-page preview. And there's a ton of stuff in this preview. And of course, I'll include a link to the Kickstarter. There's a sample adventure in here. There's a sample opening for how to introduce people. He said he's going to have like a player's guide to hand out. Like a section of this book is going to be for the players to review the world so they know what's going on. He builds things so the DM or the GM or the game master or whatever you want to call it has an easier time to get into the fun. I really like the stuff he does. So this is written towards 5e, but he always says 5e isn't Dungeons and Dragons, and it's becoming more and more that that's true with as many different 5e compatible books that are out now. So he also lists, I'm trying to spot it real quick. When he says what the compatibility of this is, he says he wrote it for 5e. But then he says, he clarifies that what he means by 5e is that the systems that claim 5e compatibility is what he's referring to. Here it is. He says running with other systems. The City of Archers assumes that you're a group who are running a 5e fantasy role-playing game such as 2014 or 2024 versions of Dungeons & Dragons, Level Up Advanced 5e by Ian Publishing, or Tales of the Valiant from Kobold Press. So he lists other things that are coming out that are stamped with 5e. He then goes on to say, however, this book can be used with nearly any fantasy role-playing game, and you can easily convert the City of Arches setting to older versions of Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Shadow of the Weird Wizard, 13 Age, Old School Essentials, the Shadow Dark RPG, and other systems. So he's saying, don't be dissuaded if you don't play 5e. I'm also not referring to Dungeons & Dragons when I say 5e. And converting this, he tried to keep it close enough to system agnostic that converting it wouldn't be too much of an issue. As long as you're going high fantasy 5e adjacent. It should be pretty easy to convert. Go to his Kickstarter, download this 42-page preview. It is a ton of information, and it's all good stuff. And you can use just this preview to build off of if you wanted to. I mean, it's just 42 pages of great ideas and awesome looking artwork and NPCs. I'm gonna back the Kickstarter. I don't back many Kickstarters. I've backed more in the last year than I have in the last 10 years, but it's very likely I'm gonna back this Kickstarter. I don't think it's too expensive. I think it's like right around $35, but I should have had it pulled up. Let's pull it up. Hopefully I'm not showing you my terrible spelling in real time. Let's see. I'm likely not signed in on my computer. Let's see. $20 for the PDF. Okay, it's $50 for if you want the hardcover and the PDF. This is what I was debating on when I was looking at it, honestly. You can get the PDF for $20. Not bad. And you'll have it whenever, like as soon as it closes. You can get the PDF and the hardcover for $50. Also not bad. I think the page count on the final book's somewhere around 150 pages. I can't remember what he said it was going to be, but it's somewhere around the mid-100 page mark. But I don't own any of these things either, and for $55, you can get a fantastic PDF bundle, he's calling it, which has the City of Arches, Fantastic Adventures, Fantastic Locations, Ruins of the Grendel Route, which is another setting that he wrote, and Fantastic Layers. So you get these 5 books for $55, and I'm debating getting that one. For $80, you can get the Lazy DM's workbook and all that stuff too. The Lazy DM books are great. I own all of them. I own digital copies and physical copies of all of them. They're great. You should pick those up if you're a DM. They help out a lot. So I'll put this link in the description, and you guys should definitely check this out. So the one of the other things I want to talk about is the Game Master's Book of Random Encounters. I've talked about this I've talked about this before on my channel. And what I talked about before was I was surprised to see that it was at Giant Eagle, a grocery store. What was at the grocery store is this. It's a magazine, essentially, magazine style of random encounters, specifically locations. And I picked it up. I think it was $12, $12 or $13. Yeah, $13. And what I have up on the screen right now is the full book. Well, not the full book, but the an advertisement for the full book, a place where you can get the full book. I have no idea about fair.com. This is just the first one that popped up. I don't want to. I'm not promoting fair.com. Here's one at Target. So they have it at Target. So this book has more widespread appeal than I have seen out of many books, or widespread distribution than I've seen out of many books. This magazine is actually a lightweight version of the picture that I pulled up, which Looks like you can get it at Target for $14, the $23 MSRP. But so this is great. I mean, I saw it in the magazine rack standing in line at Giant Eagle. And I already had the full-size book. It's a nice big full-size book, and I have a video talking about this stuff. I found this at Five Below, which is I guess it would be like a discount or kind of like a Dollar Tree type store, except for everything's $5. They recently $5 or less. Instead of $1, it's $5 or less. They recently created a section in the back of the store which is more than $5, so it's not really $5 and below anymore. But this is another lightweight version of the Random Encounters book. It has just locations. It's a little bit thicker than the magazine. This was $5. I didn't do a full one-to-one comparison to see if it's everything exactly what's in the magazine. I did open it and compare it enough to see that there are things in here that are also in the magazine version. But $5. This is the only one they had. It is the only copy of this that they had when I went there. But this can be found at Five Below for $5. And I couldn't believe it. And for $5, it's a steal, because there is a ton of good information in here. Tons of maps. Like every page, every section has maps. The layout's great. It does it's like you turn it over and here's your map, and here is the little adventure. So you don't have to flip back and forth the pages. Oh, this one has, it looks like there's several sections where it's like this is the map and the adventure, map and adventure. So the layout's really nice. $5, Five Below. You can't beat that. I now have 3 different copies of this book, but various levels, and I can throw this one in my GM bag if I want, and have this one laying on my bookshelf in my living room, and have this one with the collection of other Game Masters books that I have. But I figured I had to share that. Readily available, inexpensive options for building better random encounters. The other thing I wanted to share, it's kind of specific to local. I live Northeast Ohio, and there's a new like Wicca style shop that right now they're just doing special openings for like a day and inviting people out. But I found, and this is kind of like a LARPy thing, but I guess it could apply to you, like you're RPing for playing tabletop games if you get into this kind of thing. And like I said, I can't even remember the name of the shop. I just thought it was an awesome find I wanted to share with people. Is this drinking horn. Now I have drinking horns. I have an all metal drinking horn that's my favorite, but I'm always paranoid I'm going to lose it. And I still take it with me to events and stuff, campouts, because it's awesome and I like showing it off. And it holds I think it holds about a bottle of wine. And then I have a cup that holds like 2 bottles of wine. That's a drinking horn that's huge. But this was $20, and it is a little over 12 ounces. So it's a great size. I mean, I could put a mixed drink in here or just water. Just fill up with some water and it looks amazing. It's sealed inside. I'm not afraid to lose it, especially with this shop that's right down the street from me. Maybe I'll go pick up a few more just to have. But I really like this. I wanted to show it off. A real simple cow horn, drinking horn. I'll probably take it with me. I might be planning a trip that I'm not really announcing. It's further than I've ever gone. I'll take that down there with me, and it'll be a ton of fun. And try out my new drinking horn. I know people, even if you just want to have fun in the backyard, hanging out with friends by the fire, and you want to feel like a Viking drinking from an actual drinking horn, it's nice. Okay, the last thing I have, I know I'm over the 20-minute mark, so I won't blame you if you've tuned out. Um, so I told you I live in Northeast Ohio, and my power was out for about 57 hours last week because we had like 5 confirmed tornadoes touch down. A tornado hasn't touched down since I was a kid, and I'm in my 40s, so it was a lot of fast-paced excitement here for a little bit, followed by 3 days of darkness. And I'm lucky in the sense that there were people who had their power out for like 5 days here. Um, I was uh, being lulled to sleep by the generators in the background. I started reading Ready Player One in the meantime because I haven't read it yet. I think over the 3 days I read like 130 pages or so. Because I always say if I don't have a TV, I'll just read more. I've got tons of stuff to read that I need to catch up on. But this is why I haven't posted a video in over a week and a half. I've been trying to post at least a couple times a week. My computer is giving me some blue screen of death. New Windows update was killing me. I had to figure that out. And my car's giving me some trouble. Like, I'm not saying all this to complain into the ether. I'm just giving you a brief life update if anybody wants to know. That's why I haven't been around for over a week. I've been dealing with a lot of issues, including tornadoes touching down in my area. But it was a lot of fun in the sense that I knew that we were safe. We threw away a bunch of food, but it was really fast. So I was probably 10 minutes down the street when it started. And these things, one of them was probably 5 or 10 minutes from us. It was pretty close. The winds got real bad. We had rows of telephone poles that got knocked over. But it was really fast. It was like an hour of crazy, and then it was gone. It was really weird in the sense that you didn't even have a whole lot of time to worry about it when it happened. But right before it happened, everybody lost power in this area. It was widespread power outage. It was a huge deal. They were calling in trucks from all over the country to help us out. So obviously my priorities shifted to other things. Uh, you know, so I just wanted to throw that out there if anybody cares. I'm from Northeast Ohio. I don't watch the news if it's been all over the news. We're all good. I didn't hear any reported deaths or anything from it. Like I said, it was a bunch of like small tornadoes. Like it was like class 1 F1s. Touched down briefly, tore up a bunch of stuff, and then gone. So hopefully this isn't a sign of what we can expect moving forward. Hopefully this is some fluke one-off incident. But I just want to touch base on a few awesome things and give a short life update from me. If you stuck around this long, seriously, thanks for listening. Go check out Sly Flourish's City of Arches. Look for Random Encounters books at Five Below or your local discount shop. Maybe it's more widespread than that. And buy drinking horns and look like a Viking when you're hanging out with your friends by the fire. And I have another video that I'll be posting talking about trainer swords later on this week. And I have a book, a couple of new settings that I purchased that I'm gonna I want to read through and talk about. So if you listen this far, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.